Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Helen and this is Bastian. Today I have a simple flow for you, and by simple I don't mean easy, I just mean uncomplicated. So I do recommend maybe some blocks or a strap if you know that you need them, and make sure you're wearing something comfortable and you've got some space to move, and let's go. So we're going to start today in child's pose, in balasana, and this is, in my opinion, one of the most important poses to know. It's a place that you can come to whenever you need a break, you want to rest, or you're just done. So bringing your big toes together to touch, separate your knees as wide as your mat, walk your hands out away from you and draw your head down. Maybe let the head hang heavy or rest on a block or the floor. Be heavy in your hips. You can also place a block underneath your bum if the seat is far away from your heels. With every exhale, melt your heart down towards the floor and just surrender to this. Coming into your breath. Just noticing it. And just taking a moment to check in with yourself. Moving away from any judgment or any aspiration, but just kind of seeing yourself where you're at today. The good, the bad, and everything in between. Just acknowledging that and respecting that. And tensing up onto your fingertips. Big inhale. Exhale, sigh it out the mouth. And then gently walking both of your hands over to the right. And send your weight into that left hip. And walk your hands all the way through the center, all the way over to the left. And sending your weight into that right hip. And then all the way back through to the center. And walking your hands in towards you, lift the hips, bring the knees together. You're in a tabletop position. So your knees are hip width distance apart, and they are underneath your hips. Your wrists are underneath your shoulders. And taking a cat-cow here. On an inhale, arch the spine. So drop the belly towards the floor, open the heart, lengthen the back of the neck, lift the gaze. Exhale, round the spine. Draw your chin almost the whole way to your chest. Draw the crown of the head down as you push the floor away from you with your hands. Let's do that again. Inhale, arch the spine. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale to a neutral spine. Tuck the toes under, and on your next exhale, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. So we have this funny notion in yoga, I find a lot of the time with our feet, that we either want to touch our toes or get the heels down or do something honestly quite unnecessary. So don't worry about the heels touching the floor. Don't worry about these legs being straight. Use your arms to encourage your chest towards your thighs. This is a whole body stretch. You're stretching down the whole back body, your shoulders, your back, your hips, your glutes, your hamstrings, your calves, all of it. So these knees can be as bent as they need to be. You can also widen your feet if you want to. Make this pose work for you, not the other way around. So bringing your gaze in between your hands, softening your knees, and just walk the feet all the way up to the top of the mat. So you're in a standing forward fold at the top of the mat. Now it's up to you. You can have your feet together or hips width distance apart. Neither is better or more advanced than the other. It's just what suits you best in this moment today. Uttanasana, forward folds. On an inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. So straightening up those legs, drawing the navel in. Keep your hands in contact with something, whether it's the floor, your shins. You can even use a block here underneath your hands. Maybe you're bringing your hands all the way up to your thighs. But really feel this in the hamstrings. Tip the pelvis as if you're trying to stick your bum out. And on an exhale, folding forwards, drawing the crown of the head to the floor, and knees can be soft. Bend the knees as much as you need to firm your hands to the ground. Step both of your feet back. Plank pose. Big inhale. And on an exhale, lift the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. So each time we come to visit downward facing dog, explore the stillness here if you can. And that's not something to worry about or to stress about, but just explore how much stillness can you find on every exhale. Can you resist those urges to fidget? And like I said, it's okay if you can't, if you need to fidget, if you need to do something, that's okay. The more we do this, the easier it will become. Quietening the mind, tuning out those thoughts, those unnecessary thoughts, and just staying focused, staying present here on our mats. And bringing your gaze back in between your hands, softening your knees, and just walk the feet all the way back up to the top of the mat. On an inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half lift. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale to rise all the way up to the top. And you can walk your hands up your legs if that's pulling on the back at all. Bring your hands through to your heart center in prayer, Samastiti. Tadasana, mountain pose. So finding equal weight distribution throughout all four corners of your feet, drawing your kneecaps up the quads and tucking the pelvis under. Lifting the abdominals to about 40% of your capacity. So your abdominals are engaged, but they're not gripping in a crunch. Shoulders are back and down, stacked over your hips. Fingers are activated, gazes forwards, chin parallel to the floor. So this is the blueprint, if you like, the basis of all of our standing asana, standing poses. So with everything that we do upright, think about this, everything that we are doing right now. When you're ready for your next inhale, reaching those arms up, back over the top of your head, bring your gaze to your thumbs and find that extension in the front and back body. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Your back is flat. Knees can be soft if they want to be, if this is pulling on your lower back. Fold forwards. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step the feet back to plank pose. Whole body is engaged, pushing the floor away from your face with your hands. Big inhale. Exhale, lift the hips back up. You're back in downward facing dog. You may find each time that we come here, there's a bit more ease in finding it. As your shoulders start to warm up, the hips start to warm up, the hamstrings start to warm up. And then raising your right leg. And lift that leg as high as it will go and try to isolate the hips here. So this right shoulder might want to join in. Keep it as square as you can. Keep encouraging this left heel down and maybe feel a really nice stretch down the back of that left leg. And bending your right knee, drawing your knee to your nose as you come up onto the left tippy toes. And then place your right foot on the floor in between your hands. Lowering the left knee to the ground on an inhale, low lunge, Anjaneyasana, reaching your arms up alongside your ears. So a tendency that we have often here is to kind of collapse a little bit into the hips here. So just notice if you're doing that. You do want to be all the way on the very top part of your left patella, your left kneecap there. So it is a lunge as opposed to a kneel, but we haven't sunk down. So again, applying Tadasana here, tucking the pelvis under. So sending your tailbone down, stacking your right knee over your right ankle. And this action should fire deeply into your left quad here, and maybe even your left hip flexor, and reach those arms alongside your ears, but keep the softness in the shoulders, so the shoulders haven't joined in. Big inhale. Exhale, hinge forwards and frame your right foot with your hands. Pick up your left knee to step your right foot back to meet the left. And we're going to add a little vinyasa here. So use your toes to propel your shoulders beyond your fingertips, like this. And then lower your knees. Tilt the pelvis. Bend the elbows backwards as you bring your chest and your chin to the floor. Ashtanga Namaskar. On an inhale, slither the heart forwards for a small cobra, Bhujangasana. So pressing the tops of your feet into the mat. You don't have to do this, but hypothetically, if you're going to lift your hands, you're not going to face plant because you're using your back muscles to lift the chest. So there's virtually no weight on these hands. They're just there for balance, really. And really, really activate. The legs are very strong. Maybe the kneecaps are even away from the ground. And gently tap the floor with your nose. Push back through a tabletop. Tuck the toes under. Downward facing dog. So this pose is becoming really familiar. And there's a comfort in that. It's like coming home. Raise your left leg. And lifting that leg up high, 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 high. Again, maybe encouraging that right heel down, feeling that nice stretch in the back of the right leg. And then drawing your knee to your nose, placing the foot on the floor in between your hands to lower the right knee. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. So again, just noticing for yourself, have we kind of collapsed a little bit into this? Can we keep this knee stacked over your ankle? Tuck the pelvis under. Glutes are engaged. Lift up. Big inhale. Exhale, hinging forwards, framing your left foot. And step your left foot back to meet the right. We're going to go through our vinyasa again. So again, using your toes to propel the shoulders forwards, lower your knees softly, tilt the pelvis, and lower your chest and your chin. Inhale, slither the heart forwards, Bhujangasana, small cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Big inhale. Big exhale. Raising your right leg. And drawing your knee to your nose. Place the foot on the floor in between your hands. This time, lower the left heel as you turn the toes out slightly. Cartwheel the arms up. We're going to lift up into warrior two. Yeah. So again, thinking Tadasana, your shoulders are stacked over your hips. We often tend to have a bit of a forward-leaning kind of motion in our warrior two. So just notice that for yourself. Stacking shoulders over hips. Equal energy through all 10 fingers. This left arm in particular can tend to kind of get a bit heavy. So pay attention to that. What's it doing? Can you lift it up? Breathe. Even an equal weight distribution throughout all four corners of your feet. We have a tendency here to maybe roll in on our left inner arch. So just notice that. Can you press down on the outer edge of that foot? Starting to build up some heat, some energy. Big inhale. Big exhale. So straighten your right leg. Pull the hips back slightly. And reach your right fingers forwards. And look where you're going. We want to be directly over this right leg as we hinge directly over it. Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. So it does what it says on the tin. We're making a whole bunch of triangles here, everywhere. So particularly think about the left waist here, sorry, the right waist here. And we don't want to collapse and we don't want to drop this top shoulder. Personally, I like to take the back of my hand to somewhere on the inside of my leg here and use that to gently press against it to stack the left shoulder on top of the right and reach those fingers towards the ceiling. If you're using a block, which I do really recommend, take the block to the outside of your right foot. The reason why it's on the outside, if you place the block on the inside of the foot, we're already out of alignment here and we're leaning too far forward. So we want to be directly over this right leg. So bring it to the outside. Yeah. And again, we have this funny notion about our feet that we want to touch the floor or our toes or whatever. And it will come. It will. But it's consistency, it's time. And if you go for touching the floor and that means that this top shoulder is dropped, or we've collapsed in the waist, or any other number of things, then we're not really getting the true benefit of the pose. Honestly, touching the floor does not matter at all. Try and pull the feet together. Try and touch the ceiling. Breathe. On your next inhale, coming all the way up to the top. Exhale, back into Warrior Two. Virabhadrasana 2. And hold it here. Big inhale. Exhale, cartwheel the arms around, framing your right foot. And step your right foot back to meet the left. Plank pose. Big inhale. Exhale. As you lower your knees, tilt the pelvis, chest and chin. Slither the heart forwards. Inhale. Small cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale. Downward facing dog. And raising your left leg. And draw your knee to your nose. And placing the foot on the floor in between your hands, lifting straight up into your Warrior Two. So another thing about yoga that I think is wonderful is that you don't have to land perfectly, right? It's not gymnastics. So we've arrived here in our Warrior Two and we can check in. Have we landed where we intended to? Not always. So thinking about all the principles of Tadasana, again, it's all the same. Is that left knee stacked over my left ankle? Am I dumping into my lower back? Can I tuck the pelvis under? Where are my shoulders in relation to my hips? Breathe. And then straightening your left leg. Pull the hips back slightly. Reach those left fingers forwards, forwards, forwards. And again, look where you're going as you hinge directly over this left leg. We really want to stack this shoulder on top of the right and reach those left fingers towards the ceiling. Making all of those triangles. And wherever you are, you can breathe with ease, with depth. The moment that you find that breath is perhaps a bit strained, then maybe you've gone a bit too far. Pull back a notch. You prioritize your breath above all else. Now imagine someone's pulling you up by your right fingers. On an inhale, coming all the way up to the top, really working these obliques, these waist muscles. Exhale. Virabhadrasana 2. Warrior Two. So holding this, feeling the energy that you're creating, the heat that you're building. Big inhale. Exhale, cartwheel your arms around to frame your left foot. And step your left foot back to meet the right. Plank pose. Big inhale. Exhale, lowering your knees. Tilt the pelvis, your chest and your chin. Inhale, small cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Again, finding that stillness, that softness. Big inhale. On exhale, bend your knees and just walk the feet all the way back up to the top of the mat. And bring your big toes together to touch. Separate your heels by about an inch. Keep a deep bend in both of your knees as you send your arms behind you, as if you're skiing down a ski slope. On your next inhale, brush your fingertips along the floor. Keep your hips low as you reach your arms alongside your ears. Chair pose, Utkatasana. So drawing the navel in, maybe lift the gaze, maybe press the palms together. Kind of listen to your shoulders here. Breathe. On your next inhale, slowly coming to stand, bringing your hands through to your heart center. Tadasana, mountain pose. Lovely. So coming into Vriksasana, tree pose, bring your feet together from Tadasana, shifting your weight into your left foot as you bend your right knee and turn the knee out to the side, and just monitor that these hips don't go with the knee, the hips stay forwards, and release this foot to wherever you want to on the inside of this left supporting leg. Hands can be on your hips, you can hold onto a wall or a chair, to your heart, or maybe up alongside your ears. So again, thinking Tadasana. Can you evenly distribute your weight throughout all four corners of that left standing foot? Can you tuck your pelvis under, soften the shoulders, engage the core, and breathe? It's all the same. Quite simple. Really lovely. Releasing that right leg and just shake it off. So starting from Tadasana, bending your left knee, turn the knee out to the side. And again, releasing this foot to anywhere on the inside of that right supporting leg. Hands again, wherever they need to be for you. Always making the poses work for you, not the other way around. Think of it like you're trying to find the perfect pair of shoes that fit perfectly, that are comfortable. You know, even though we do it, you don't want to be wearing uncomfortable shoes. And to think about that the same way that you would with your practice. Like if a pose is really uncomfortable, if it's excruciating, you're not going to stay in it for a long time. And holding poses for a little bit longer is where the magic is. Yeah. Really nice. And then releasing that foot out. Separating your feet, if you are lengthways on your mat, it's approximately the width of your mat, wider than your hips, toes pointing outwards, heels in, coming into Malasana, yogi squat. And take a deep bend in your knees and bring your hands to your heart center as you draw the tail towards the floor and your crown towards the ceiling. So again, noticing maybe if you've rolled in on your inner arches, thinking about that weight distribution in your feet. Can you use your whole foot? And then from here, I'm going to play around with Bakasana crow pose. So from your yogi squat, bring your hands down to the floor in front of you. Lift the hips up high and bring your feet closer together as you nestle your knees into your armpits and keep the gaze beyond your fingertips. We move in the direction that we look in. So if you look down, you're going to go down. So look long. Nestle the knees into the armpits. Lift the hips as high as they can go. And then just start to shift the weight forwards. And maybe playing around here and just kind of getting used to being in this position. Maybe playing around with lifting one foot, maybe lifting both, really drawing in at the navel, lifting up, breathing, and then bringing the feet back down, coming into our child's pose. So bring the knees down to the floor, untuck the toes, walking the hands out away from you, Balasana. And then walking your hands back in towards your body. Making your way back into your tabletop position. Tucking your toes under, take a big inhale. Exhale, lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. And raising your right leg, again, lift that leg up high and draw the knee to the nose. And this time, place the knee on the floor behind the right wrist, coming into a pigeon pose. So melting your hips down towards the floor. Really listen to your knee here. You might hear sometimes in classes to run your shin parallel to the short edge of your mat, which is fine. But if that sends your weight over into your right hip there, then bring this heel closer to your left hip. You can also use a brick underneath your right hip here to keep the hips square. But also, if there's any pain in your knee by bringing the shin forwards, then just pull it back. Let the focus be squaring the hips, finding this deep hip stretch. Take a big inhale here. And on an exhale, melt down, folding forwards. So you're bringing your body weight on top of this hip. Just surrendering into it. Noticing if there's tension kind of clinging there, can you let that go using every exhale to find even more softness? And then pushing yourself back up to stand on your hands. Tuck those left toes under to lift the hips. And send this right leg out between your left hand and your left foot to bring the hips down to the floor. So you're in a wide straddle. Knees and toes are pointing towards the ceiling. If you're collapsing in your lower back, use your hands behind you to lift up here. This is also a place that you can sit on a block too. Give yourself some more space. Maybe if it feels nice, bring your hands out in front of you. Maybe starting to walk the hands forwards any amount. And keep these legs active. And our legs they love to kind of roll backwards a little bit. So just monitor that those toes and those knees stay pointing towards the ceiling. Really nice. Walking the hands back in towards you. Use your right hand to bend the right knee and bring your legs together. So we're facing the back of the mat for Dandasana, staff pose. So this is the equivalent of Tadasana with the obvious difference now that we're sitting. But otherwise, it's kind of the same. Kneecaps engaged, feet flexed as if we're standing on the floor. Lifting up out of the pelvis. Abdominals engaged, shoulders soft, chin parallel to the floor. On an inhale, reach the arms up alongside your ears. Exhale, Paschimottanasana, hinge at the hips and bring your hands to maybe your thighs or your shins, or maybe taking your index fingers and hooking onto your big toes. Keep the back flat, chest open. This is also a place, if you want to, you can use a strap around your feet. But again, I said it before, I'll say it again. We have this funny idea in yoga that we want to touch the toes, and it doesn't matter. Focus on having the back flat and focus on straightening these legs. If touching your toes means bent knees and a rounded spine, then we're not really getting much of a stretch. If you're feeling a wonderful stretch and your forward fold is here, then you're nailing it. This is always about how the pose feels. It's not about what it looks like. And when you're ready for your next inhale, coming all the way up to the top, and exhale, the arms down to the side. So crossing at the ankles, making our way back into a tabletop position. Maybe roll over your knees, maybe come around the side. It's up to you. And from here, tucking the toes under, lifting the hips up and back. Downward facing dog, our old friend. To raise your left leg. And drawing the knee to the nose. And this time placing your knee behind your left wrist. So again, focusing on keeping the hips as square as reasonable. Use a block here if you need some support underneath that left hip. Just make sure that right foot hasn't sickled. This heel can be as close to your right hip as you need it to be. Melt down into it. Soften down. And oftentimes I find at least that, I think I've released all the tension and then I exhale again and there's more. I can release even more. Sometimes it's hiding. It's gone somewhere else. Maybe you think you've softened your hips and then suddenly the jaw's tightened and then you soften the jaw and then your fingers clench. And kind of diligently rid yourself of tension. And gently coming all the way back up to stand on your hands, tucking the right toes under. So we're going to move into our straddle again. So sending this leg out to bring the hips down. So in our wide-legged straddle. So flexing these feet again, knees pointing towards the ceiling, coming into our forward fold, maybe staying upright, keeping the length in the lower back. And then this time, bring your right hand to the floor on the inside of your right leg here. And if the ground is far away, use a block. And reach your left fingers up towards the ceiling. So we're hopefully finding a stretch on the lower part of your left side of your back. Stay here if you want to. If you like, maybe start to reach your fingers towards your toes. But again, as with everything else, if touching your toes means that this left shoulder drops down or we collapse here or the knees start to pop up, then we're not really effectively finding this stretch. So don't worry about touching your toes. Again, it doesn't matter. Find this stretch here. Lift the heart towards the ceiling. Lift up. And then coming all the way back up through to the center, bring your arms alongside your ears. And then exhale the arms down to the side. So going on the other side, so bring your left forearm to the floor, palm faces the ceiling. Again, use a brick or even maybe rest on the top of the leg there as you reach your right fingers up. Again, hopefully feeling this on the lower right side of your back. And keep pressing down that right hip too. It wants to kind of join in sometimes. So again, maybe this top hand starts to reach towards your foot. Again, it's not at the compromise of your alignment. This is not the goal, but imagine that you're trying to rest your back on the top of your thigh. I only say that for the direction of travel. It's certainly not what we're aiming to do here, but we're lifting the heart. And again, breath is easy. So if that means releasing this hand back up, then do that. And then inhale, coming all the way back up to the top. Arms alongside your ears. And exhale. The arms down to the side. Use your left hand to bend the knee. Coming into Dandasana, facing the top of our mat again. We've just done a little circle. So back in staff pose, Dandasana, our equivalent of Tadasana, mountain pose. Forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. So again, any amount. Keeping the back as flat as you can. So as we round, the spine will naturally round slightly. So again, we're not going for what this looks like per se. Try and keep the back flat means not hunching the shoulders and not kind of collapsing down here. Your natural curvature will occur, but keep the length, keep the focus, keep the intention. If you have a goal to touch your toes, starting here is the most effective way to get there. But then also, it doesn't matter. I promise you, you don't get a special medal or award just because you can touch your toes. Not a thing. On your next inhale, coming all the way up to the top. Exhale, the arms down to the side. So from Dandasana, bending your right knee and placing the foot on the outside of your left knee. We're coming into a seated twist. Bring your right hand to the floor at the base of your spine. On an inhale, get some length in your spine by reaching this left arm alongside your ear. Exhale, twist. Bring your outer left elbow to your outer right knee. Bringing the chest towards the long edge of your mat. Excuse me. Maybe bringing your gaze over your right shoulder. So draw the navel in, not only to protect your lower back, but to give yourself a bit more space to twist. And then coming all the way back through to the center. So just go straight away on the other side. Placing the left hand on the floor behind you, reach your right fingers up on an inhale, exhale, twist. And then coming all the way back around through to the center. Bend your knees. Make sure that you've got some space to lie down behind you. Draw the navel in as you run your arms alongside your body and roll down slowly, 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 more slowly than you want to really, all the way down to the floor. And once you've made it there, Shavasana. Extending your legs long, feet are approximately the width of your mat, and allow the toes to fall open to the side. And tucking the pelvis under, tucking the chin in, and softly close your eyes. Let your breath be heavy, natural. Let your whole body soften. Perhaps feeling the echoes of the work that you've just done reverberate through your body. And just enjoy that, let it settle in, absorb. And take a big inhale through your nose. Exhale, sighs out the mouth. And stay here for as long as you need to. And when you are ready to move, do so slowly and gently, taking your time. And thank you so much for being here, for sharing your practice. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever it is that you are up to. Please let me know what you think of this flow. Pop it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and to like this video and maybe share it with your friends. Thank you all. I will see you next time.